I'll show you exactly whether you have good credit or bad credit to get the Navy Federal Visa flagship credit card with the limits up to $80,000. So they do have this credit card particular goes up to $80,000. Now, one data point to point out is that Navy Federal threshold or credit limit exposure is 80,000 across all Navy Federal credit cards. It's only 80,000. Now, obviously, to get this card, you do need to be a member of Navy Federal. You need to have some sort of military affiliation to get that, to get inside Navy Federal and then apply for their products. All right, so here is the trick. So what you want to do with Navy Federal, before I get started though, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. All right, so the first thing you want to do is, if you are a Navy Federal member, you want to do a pre-qualification. See what you pre-qualify as far as the credit cards. You do that through the app, right? So you want to see if you pre-qualify for any of the cards. Okay. Now, FYI, it will be a hard pull if you proceed. If you approve, if you do proceed with the application, it will be a hard pull. On your TransUnion. For the business, they pull Experian. Personal, they pull TransUnion. Business, they pull Experian. Just a FYI. So you hear a lot of people on the internet, YouTube specifically, hey, apply for after 12 a.m., 10 p.m., whatever the case is. There is no late night hack. Okay. Just want to be clear. There is no such thing as a late night hack. It's all algorithm. What does that mean? It's an algorithm that processes, looks at your credit report, and then makes a determination. There is literally no way a human will be able to review every application. Okay, so it's all algorithm. Whether it's 5 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., there's no such thing as a late night hack. Okay, just a FYI. It's either instant approval or it's review. Okay, instant approval or it's review. If it's instant approval, algorithm. It's a review. Sometimes an underwriter can look at the application and then approve it manually. But 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be all algorithm, AI, just based on certain data points that they look at with Navy Federal to get that approval. So don't listen to anybody on the internet who says it's a late night hack and all that. That's total BS. Second thing, usually with the Visa flagship credit card, they start you off with a minimum of 5,000. Again, it goes all the way up to 80,000. All right. So usually this particular, so Navy Federal uses, they pull FICO 9, right? And they actually don't factor in medical bills. FICO 8 is just a different scoring model. FICO 8, they do factor in medical bills. Now, for you to apply for this card, I recommend 680 or above, right? Navy Federal is known to give out high limits even with lower scores. One thing you want to do is, if you have a Navy Federal account, you want to get different products, because that Navy Federal has an internal score, right? An internal score. The higher the score, the higher likelihood of approvals on the products and the higher likelihood of higher approvals on those credit cards, all right? So in order to boost that internal score with Navy Federal, what you want to do is apply for different products, apply for certain products, and that way you can. So the way to get products is to apply for products depending on what your score is. So the first thing you want to do is do the pre-approval. If you're pre-approved for any other card other than the flagship, what you can do, right? Let's say you get approved for the other card, the cash reward or the other card other than the flagship, the premium card. What you can do, if you have a $5,000 limit or above, after 1 year, you can do what's called a product change. Basically, you want to do a product change to another product, and you can apply for the flagship credit card, and it's going to be a no hard pull, right? So do the pre-approval, see which cards you're approved for. Now, if you're pre-approved for the flagship, then go ahead and apply. That does not mean you will get approved. Just a FYI, it does not mean you will get approved. It does not guarantee an approval. It just, all right, it does not guarantee an approval. It just means if you're pre-approved, you're likely to get approved. It will be a hard pull in your TransUnion. Again, they pull Experian if you do the business side. Now, if to increase the odds, if you have bad credit, if you're starting from scratch and you do have a Navy Federal account, you want to get a pledge loan. You want to do a secured pledge loan hack. I have a video on that. Just go ahead and check out my channel. There's other videos on that. Get the pledge loan. Then, if you're really bad on credit, do a secure loan with a secured credit card, the End Rewards. Make sure you apply. Get those two products. That way, you build that internal score. Get some direct deposit into the Navy Federal bank account. That way, you raise that internal score, raise your odds of getting approved. Again, keep checking your pre-approvals on the app with the credit cards. That way, you know if you're likely to get approved for those credit cards. Guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business. We talk about finance. Let me know in the comments if this is your first time here so I can welcome you to the channel. That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace. How you can build your credit with Navy Federal, the House of Higher Limits. That's what we call them. All right. So the first thing, obviously, if you want to get into Navy Federal, you need to be affiliated with someone in the military. They provide you what's called an access code. That's how you can get in with Navy Federal. There are some other ways where like backdoor methods, but we're not going to get into that. So the first thing you want to do is, so you have an account with Navy Federal. If you're looking to build your credit from scratch, one of the best ways, I'm going to give you 2 ways specifically with Navy Federal, but they can be used across, that strategy can be used across any bank or any credit union. So the first thing you can do is, the benefit with Navy Federal, they have this thing called a secured pledge loan. So everybody on the internet calls it the secured pledge loan hack. Basically what that is, let's say you have $5,000. You're going to give that to Navy Federal. They're going to give you they're going to give you that amount in the form of a loan, right? It's an installment loan. And the reason there is a benefit for that is because Navy Federal is one of the very few credit unions that actually give you the money back. Okay, let me say that again. Navy Federal is one of the very few credit unions or banks out there that actually give you the money back. Most banks, when you do a pledge loan or a secure loan, they keep the money up to a certain period, then they give it to you back. Navy Federal actually gives you the money back within a few days after you make that secured pledge loan with Navy Federal. So if it's $5,000, they give you the $5,000 back, and you can pay that down 90%. It's reported on your credit report as an installment loan. The reason you want to pay 90% is because, let's say you have a 5-year term, 3-year term. It looks like to the lenders, other lenders, and to Navy Federal that you paid off this loan right away. You paid off 90%, and then the rest of the payments are going to be paid off with whatever the remaining term that is. But so that's one of the ways. So that way you get an installment loan on your credit, right? So that's why the benefit is you get a mix of accounts. So you want revolving lines of credit, which are credit cards, and you want installment loans, which have a term, basically a fixed term, a fixed monthly payment that report on your credit. That's a mix of that you want. You want revolving mix of like an auto loan, personal loan, mortgage, things like that. You want that reporting on your credit report because it shows other lenders that you're able to manage different types of debt. So the second thing that you can do with Navy Federal is get a secured card. They have the secured and rewards card. This is good for new credit, bad credit. You're trying to rebuild credit. So they base it off the deposit that you make into their savings account. So same way with the installment loan. The difference with this card, though, is they keep the deposit until you graduate into unsecured. The minimum is $200. You can get up to $5,000, I believe. So the higher, the better, because that's going to reflect on the line. And what happens is after 6 months, it graduates to unsecured. So the difference between secured and unsecured, very simple. Unsecured is you're not putting any money down. You're not securing it with your own money. Secured is when you secure with your own money. So the benefit of this card is that it graduates after 6 months, and after 3 months, I've heard people get a credit limit increase after that. It reports to all 3 bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Guys, before I continue, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you can notify for them about posting a new video. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. Also, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business, and we talk about finance. All right, so we have the secured loan, secured pledge loan with Navy Federal, and then we have the secured and rewards card. Again, that's good for new credit, building credit, bad credit, because you're securing it with your own money. The higher the limit, the better, because eventually it's going to turn into unsecured. And then also they're going to base that off that. It builds your internal score and you can get higher limits. Navy Federal is known to give a higher limits, typically with people with bad or not so great credit. So they're very generous with the limits. And if you have really bad credit or you're rebuilding it or you have new credit, this is one way, especially with Navy Federal, because if you do these two things, you do the end rewards and you do the pledge loan, you'll have 2 data points to provide to Navy Federal. You build that internal score. So at the end of the day, you can get that $20,000 starting credit limit once it turns into unsecured. They have up to $80,000 across all credit cards with Navy Federal, which is great. They also have personal loans. They have auto loans. So the better you raise that internal score with Navy Federal, like if you start making some deposits, if you make your payments on time, if you use the card, pay it off, it builds that internal score, and that's how you can get those high limits. Guys, let me know in the comments if I'm dropping some gems. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you can notify whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. So with Navy Federal, you can apply, you can get that, you could turn that graduates into an unsecured credit card, and then you can get the other cards that have higher limits. That's my time. My name is Toby Rosario. Peace. All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to do a full walkthrough of the business credit card products that Navy Federal has, and I'm going to talk about why they're a little overrated. And even though I personally have some products with them, but I'm going to talk about the pros and cons. So we're at the business. So you would just go to services, then you go to business solutions, and this is where you get to. So you go to business checking account. You have to have a business checking account in order to get the business credit card. I think you have to you have to deposit like $100, I believe. When I did like 4 years ago. I have a video. I believe I have the first video ever on the Navy Federal business credit card. I was the first one to get that business credit card and make a video about it. It went viral. It was like 30,000. Make sure you go ahead and check that out somewhere on my channel. So let's learn about the membership and the benefits and all that. So the benefits is you get access to small business professional backing of Navy Federal, with the largest credit union in America, tailored insurance options, competitive credit offerings, easy payment, payroll processing. So this is how you would do it. You start the application, sign in with your personal Navy Federal credentials. You have to obviously be a member. And then they have like a to-do list here. You can call them. I did it over the phone. It's a lot easier. It does take about an hour or so to get that. And it says here, be prepared to fund your business membership depending on your business type. The minimum required is $250. When I did, I believe it was $100. So they did raise it up. So $250 to $255. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now let's go back to their credit card products. So their business credit cards. And this is a problem. This is a good, because this is typically lower than most. When I got it, I believe it was a lot lower than this. Which was 3 or 4 years ago. But this is okay compared to other things. No annual fee. The problem is this is what you get: 1 point per dollar spent. All right. It's available on the Visa or MasterCard, no earnings cap, multiple card holders, no phone transaction fees, great for travel and expenses, zero liability for unauthorized transactions. So that's pretty standard with anything. Now the problem is, so these are the difference between the networks and what you get for the card. You get the exclusive business advantages, cellular wireless protection, the rental. The problem with this is not a good use for your business, right? $1 points per dollar spent. So if I spend $1, I only get 1x points. When you go with Chase, you go to American Express, you get the American Express Business School, you get 4x on your two most where you spend the most in the categories, you get 4x on that. And these are not really redeemable. These are not really great redeemable points, right? And the thing with the Navy Federal business credit card, so I have both of them. I have the Navy, I have the Visa and the MasterCard. I have $35,000 across both credit cards. And that is the max you can do. That is the threshold. That is their credit limit exposure. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. Also, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business and we talk about finance. So they go up to 35,000 max. It's a hard pull for the increase. Okay. So I got 25,000 on one card, and I got 10,000 with the other card. 10,000 with the Visa and 25 with the Mastercard. So that's 35 total credit limit exposure. And anything after that is docs, which is trash, right? Why? Because with Chase, I could get up to 100,000, 80,000, 60,000, no docs at 0% interest for 12 months. And they got sign up bonuses, right? Honestly, the only benefit of this card compared to every other major credit card, this is so overrated. Even though I have it, it's so overrated. But a lot of people don't know this gem, that this is a ghost, what we call a ghost card. What does that mean? It does not report to personal. Most business credit cards don't. And it does not report to business credit. All right, that utilization doesn't report to business credit. What most people don't know, there is a such thing as called business credit utilization. So if you're maxing out business credit cards, that can affect your business funding going forward, because it reports to the business credit bureaus. So this is super overrated. That is honestly the only benefit, is that it's a ghost card where I can run it up here and I can still get funding through a Bank of America or another credit card, because it's not reporting that business credit card utilization. You don't need a beta score. You don't need any business credit card. This doesn't report to any business credit business bureau. So that's why. But look at it, compare it to a Chase Inc., right? You can get 50,000, 60, 70,000, no docs, 0% interest for 12 months. You can merge limits. So you can't do that with this. It's a soft pull for credit line increases. It's a hard pull for them. You get way better reward points. You could travel. If you're using the business and using the card and you're spending on it, you get way better reward points. And you can use that to travel. You can use that to buy stuff. It's just way better. I mean, there's just no other way around it. It's just a way better product. People love Navy Federal, but they're super overrated, especially when they're business credit cards. Just saying all the facts. Now, there's some things that you can use. I'm talking about the business credit cards. Now, let's talk about the business lines of credit. So here's the difference, right? So in order to get business funding, like you need credit, collateral, or cash flow. Let me say that again. Credit, the 3 C's: credit, collateral, cash flow. This is a secured business line of credit. They don't do unsecured. Chase, unsecured. You can get up to 100,000, no docs. Up to 250 with docs. They're saying, so secured business line, need help managing working capital, operating expenses, cash flow, payroll, are secured, right? You have to put something up. And we're going to talk about that in a little second here. Offers an ideal solution different than a term loan. Business lines of credit is revolving, right? There's straight cash in the bank. It's not a term loan, where a term loan is like you got 5 years to pay back 100,000. Here's the monthly payments, fixed, doesn't change. Business line of credit is revolving, typically lower interest rate. So here are the highlights. Revolving line of credit for operational lines start at 35,000. Variable tied to the prime. It's going to give you an explanation what that is. A business line of credit is a credit product rates credit worthiness and the market based on the Wall Street prime rate. So a business checking line of credit is a credit product with a fixed rate of repayment of 2%. So must be secured. Let's talk about that. Eligible collateral, accounts receivable. Up to 80% of qualified receivables, requires all business assets lien, with advance rates determining by underwriting qualified real estate. So it's like a lien, like a UCC filing. They're gonna put a first lien they're gonna be the first lien in position. This is super overrated. This is not a good product. It's just not. Best for established business, bridging cash flow gaps, business growth, unexpected expenses, business with annual sales of at least 100. Okay. What you'll need to apply. Here's what you need. Completed and signed business loan application. You need tax returns, 2 years tax returns. Business plan may be required. You need personal tax returns, last 2 years. You need financial statements, balance sheets, profit and loss, debt schedule, personal financial statement for all guarantees, proof of collateral, personal guarantee, and a personal credit check. Super overrated. I would not try this product. They have overrated business products. So this is something I definitely would not. You go to Chase, they go up to $100,000, no docs, no collateral, no cash flow. This is overrated product. I'm not trying to bash. I'm just trying to. These are the facts, right? Let's see what they have for the. I know they have they have the commercial loan. Let's look at what they have here. Okay. Choose between different types of loans for your real estate resident can be tedious, but with Navy Federal, commercial real estate loan options are broad, whether you're growing your operation through highlights for purchases, refinance, and renovation. A standard 5-year term, 20-year term amortization, no prepayment penalties, fees may apply. Best for commercial real estate, either owner-occupied or investment, residential, mixed-use, property renovation. Okay, here's what you're going to need. Tax returns, most recent 3 years. Personal tax returns, most recent 3 years. Sales contract, lease agreement, rent roll, renovation, personal guarantee, and personal credit check. It doesn't say is it going to be 100% financing? Let me see. It doesn't have much information on here, but these are their business products. So the business credit card, like I said, is good. It's only good because of it's a ghost loan, so you can run it up, and it doesn't affect your funding for other credit cards. That's essentially it. The rewards are trash, the limits are trash. They ask for docs after 35,000. That's essentially it. Guys, let me know in the comments if you agree or not. I still have the card, right? But when you compare it to a Chase, American Express, Bank of America, Truist, all these other banks, it's not even close. It's not even close, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Let me know in the comments if you agree or not. That's my time. My name is Toby Rosario. Peace.
Federal is the largest credit union in the U.S. They're heavily relationship based for a few reasons. They actually have an internal score that can favor you in your approvals with them more than the FICO score. And then also they pull FICO 9, I believe, which can also be a little more lenient towards like negative items and stuff when they're paid off. They can be like regarded not as much as like FICO 8. But they also have like any other product you could ever need in the future. So auto, mortgage, business products as well. Not the most robust of the business side, but still they have a pretty good credit card. Not for points and stuff, but for access to capital. And then those two insane credit building opportunities are pretty much why I like them, is the secured loan hack and the secured credit card, which I'm about to explain in a little bit. But real quick, in terms of getting into Navy Federal, obviously there's having family in the military, direct family, right? So parents, grandparents, spouses, siblings, children, grandchildren. We'll talk about the household member thing right now, but this is direct family only. So I'd say though that even distant family can be an opportunity. So a lot of times people just don't think outside the box enough. And even I didn't when I was first starting out. So my affiliation was my uncle was in the Army, and I called Navy. They said, hey, that's too distant of a family member. Sorry, we can't let you in. And I was bummed, and I thought that was it. It was over for me. And then I started thinking, and I was like, okay, my uncle is my mom's brother. So technically my mom has direct family that's military. So she can get in. And then once my mom got in, I got in because of her. And it was just boom, just like that. One extra step got me in, and then I could, bring my brother in and my dad in and all that. So whether you have cousins or uncles or aunts, sometimes it is just 1 or 2 steps away from bringing that to a direct family trace for you and getting you into Navy. And I would say it would be worth it. Obviously, it could be a weird conversation if you're just like, if they don't understand the value of credit building and all that. But if you can get them up to speed, it can be real, like, worth the while. So if you have a direct family member that, so if a direct family member becomes a Navy Federal member, they can help you get in. You just click this option here. I'm related to a Navy Federal member. There is one other option, which is what I call the roommate play. You don't want to pretend that you have a family member. By the way, before we talk about the roommate play, you don't want to have a fake family member. That's not a play. That's something that can get you screwed up in 2 to 3 years out, and they shut down all your accounts or hold your money or stuff like that. It's not a play. I see it all the time, though. It's pretty crazy. But so getting in as a roommate can be done legitimately. So it doesn't require that you have a family relation. It just requires that you're technically a roommate. So either they room with you or you room with them. The point is you're in the same house, right? And one of you guys, like that person has to be in Navy Federal. So maybe you have a buddy that's actually in the military or a buddy that can get into Navy Federal, and then you room with him, then you'd be able to get into Navy. If you use this path, I would say you shouldn't apply for credit or do anything with your Navy Federal account for 60 days. I would just let it sit. If you have their address on file when you join in, I would then wait those 60 days, change your address to your main address that you want to house in that's not their house, and then you can start applying for credit, because now that's going to match up with everything else that your credit has on file with. And if you want to do this fully legitimately, you could basically send a bill or two, so like a bank statement or a credit card bill, to that person's house. And now you have a legitimate piece of paper that says their address and your name, and you can submit that to Navy if they ask for it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and you'd be good to go. But again, like I said, I would wait to move back to your house before you apply for anything credit wise. Hopefully that made sense. I know it's kind of complicated, but let's see. We have a lot of slides to go to. That's why I'm like, shoot, I kind of, if there's questions during Q&A, I'll get to them at that point. I feel like, what do you think? I mean, Toby, am I doing all right?
Yeah, no, you're doing great. Yeah, you keep rocking.
All right, cool. So we spoke on the secured loan hack. That's the best place to do it. It will build your credit while also building a relationship with Navy. I think that's huge. High limit secured loans will show good comparable credit. That's a term that's basically just showing that other banks are going to be looking at the limits that you already dealt with, and that's going to influence the limits that you get on the personal side, but also the business side. Mostly like commonly talked about is like you can get double to triple on the business side. That's not like a law, but yes, normally we want to have as high of a limit as we can within that 10 to 20K limit mark on the personal to get those 25K, 50K limits on the business side. But yeah, for future installment loans and future credit cards, plus it gives you credit mix, right? This pledge loan hack. For those with bad credit, if you don't have installment loans yet, especially, you can grab these, whether it's the pledge loan hack or the credit strong products with no credit check. So you can be giving yourself that positive blood flow, positive accounts that are battling the negatives that you currently have. And that will hopefully pad your profile as time goes on with positive payments, right? And with more good than bad, basically. And I think that's really important. Plus, again, it's no credit check. So therefore, you can't get denied for it on these products that I'm mentioning. Going over to the data mining side of the growth phase here. So data mining is getting products with an institution in order to build a relationship with them. So that way, when it's time to apply for credit with them, you've already built trust as a customer for some time. So it's playing the long game. It's what I call dating before you marry. You don't want to just pop up to the bank as a complete stranger and try to ask for credit. It's better that they know who you are, that you've been a customer for X amount of months, what your income is already. They maybe see some deposit activity, and you're actually building a relationship before asking for anything. And what are the general guidelines for data mining? I would say we want, if we can, 90 days of an account being open at that bank before we apply for credit at that bank. Normally, some banks are first day friendly, we call it, and you can get in, they'll hard pull you on the first day. This is normally credit unions. And then you can do like a double dip scenario where you get a card and a loan, or, you know, 2 credit cards or something like that. But normally we want more time on the books with them. As high of a daily balance as possible over that 90-day period, that would be great. And then direct deposit behavior is always great. Banks love to see that. Because of check systems, which is basically it's not a credit bureau, but it's a reporting agency that monitors your bank activity. We don't really want to go for, I'd say, over 5 institutions every 6 months. It's not that hard number. I've seen people do way more than that. It depends on the institution, if they're pulling check systems or not. It depends on just how they feel about you and your overall like bank account applications. But it's not necessarily credit related, it's bank account related. So you have check systems inquiries, but they're not credit inquiries. They're just focused on just opening, checking, and savings accounts. But it is something you have to watch out for. So I would prioritize what bank accounts you're going to get in that order of what's most important. Other data mining options, so just any product you can think of that they have. So checking and a savings account would be better than just a checking if you want to data mine more. Getting authorized user cards from credit cards at that bank, getting CDs, installment loans, retirement accounts, direct deposit activity. The more products, the merrier if you're really trying to get good with the bank. And so for people with negatives or bad credit, data mining is also vital for you to accomplish because it does not involve credit. So you can't get denied for data mining and rubbing shoulders with the bank in the best way possible. And it can help you get those approvals, even though your FICO is low, because they're looking at your relationship being so good. A great example of this, and Navy Federal is obviously like the best institution to probably do it at. This is like the power of proper data mining right here. It's a 25K instant approval online with a 594. This is a Vantage score, so we don't actually know what his real FICO was, but my homie Eli had done the data mining that I had recommended to him for him to do to the T. He did the direct deposits, he did the secured card, he did the 2 pledge loans right there. He did one for 1K, and then he ended up doing one for 9,500. And sooner or later, he got the pre-qualification to go through on the Navy Federal personal credit card, and he got a 25K approval, which I think is just insane for someone with that score to be able to get. And so again, there's FICO 9 and the Navy Federal internal score working in tandem with data mining to get a really cool result. And so here's another screenshotable little slide here, how to optimally data mine at Navy Federal. You want the checking account, ideally the flagship checking if you can, but now that's coming back with a monthly fee. They were waiving it for a little while, but I think it's back on to like $15 a month, unless you hit like some qualifying activities. Savings account, they're going to make you one just because it's actually like you're forced to have at least a savings account. So I would have both of these. Direct deposit is more about the behavior. You don't actually have to go onto your employer and sign up. They can't really tell. They just can look at your ACH deposits being consistent. So every Friday, every other Friday, if you have consistent deposits, that's really what they want more than anything. Pledge Loan Hack, 1 is good. 2, I would say it'd be better. And we want to aim for 60 months or more on the term. And then activating Oops overdraft protection. I forget what this actually stands for, but it's an overdraft protection service that you can get after you're 90 days in to Navy Federal. It's an extra product you can enroll into. It's not going to show up on your credit. It's no credit check. It's just something else to have that could be helpful for the data mining aspect. And then business checking, your LLC, I think, or sole prop can have a business checking with them. And there's no rush for that. It's not needed for any of those results, but it's just something to note that they have another product. That's going to help you get approved for either a secured or unsecured product, depending on your profile situation. Here's what that actually looks like, the Oops overdraft protection service. This is the one that you want, because there's 2. Like, don't get the checking line of credit. That one will actually pull your credit. It's going to show up on your credit profile. Don't get that one. They're right next to each other on the site. So just make sure this one says Oops. So you don't want to pull Oops.
Real quick, go ahead. Someone's asking, Navy Federal, they actually don't report to personal or the business credit bureau. So we call that a ghost card.
Okay. Listen, let's break this down.
You can get up to 35,000, no docs. Anything after that, you do have to provide docs. And this is directly from an underwriter. This is not me just making this stuff up. I actually spoke to an underwriter. That's how I get all these data points.
Let's talk about that, man.
680, 650. I've seen 620. They'll give you a $25,000 credit card. Can this credit card make you money, and how can it make me money?
What's going on, guys? Again, I was able to get Toby Rosario back to the channel, and today we're going to talk to you guys about Navy Federal business credit cards. Now, I know it's a lot of people talking about these types of credit cards, but many of the people that are talking about these cards don't have these cards. This is coming from someone that actually has this card, has used this card as well. But either way, I'm going to let Toby tell you guys everything about this particular credit card. So, Toby, are you with us today?
Yes, I'm super excited to give the information on this Navy Federal business credit card. It's a great card. It's like what we like to call a ghost card. What does that mean? A ghost card is essentially, so on the personal side, there's this thing called credit utilization. But on the business side, there is a thing called business credit utilization. So if you have like a business credit card and you run it up, it's hard for you to get more funding because they do report that utilization to the business credit bureaus. But Navy Federal, they actually don't report to personal or the business credit bureau. So we call that a ghost card.
Okay. Listen, let's break this down, because now sounds like we're about to, we're going straight into it. So let's go ahead and talk about this.
So number 1, they don't report to personal or business credit bureaus, right? So that's what we call the ghost card, because there's no utilization that's reporting to personal or business. That's number 1. Number 2, most people don't know they actually pull Experian for the business side. Navy Federal is known to pull TransUnion for personal products, but for the business, they pull Experian, and you can apply the same day that you open that checking account. You don't necessarily need to let it season or anything like that. Another thing that I guarantee you most people don't know is that total credit limit exposure, every bank has that, is only 35,000 on the business side. So meaning you can have 25, this is across all businesses. So I have 2 business credit cards for different businesses. One card has 25,000 limit and the other card has 10. Now, if you want more than 35,000, which is their limit, you have to provide docs, bank statements, or tax returns. So that's another gem that most people don't know.
Right. Wow. Okay, hold up. Yeah, we most definitely gotta. Okay, so now you're saying that they what's the max that they'll let you go up to? You said 35,000?
Yep. So 35,000, that's with no docs, right? You just apply, they approve you, and then they tell you what that limit is. But if you want more than 35,000, you do have to provide like usually 3 months bank statements or some sort of documentation, because their credit limit exposure on the business side is only 35,000, which is kind of weird because their total credit limit exposure for the personal is 80,000 across all cards. So they should be lending more on the business side, but they don't. But Navy Federal specifically is only 35,000 without docs, right? So you can get up to 35,000, no docs. Anything after that, you do have to provide docs. And this is directly from an underwriter. This is not me just making this stuff up. I actually spoke to an underwriter. That's how I get all these data points.
Let's talk about that, man.
Whenever you apply, you want to have some sort of deposits going into the bank accounts. You want to, the more you make it seem like you want a long-term relationship with, and this is with any bank, right? The more products and the more things you do with that relationship with that particular bank, the more products they actually lend to you, the more products they offer you, and then you can build what's called a relationship manager. These are bankers that can actually speak to the underwriter directly. They hand the application directly to the underwriter, and they can get you higher limits.
Got you. Man, you know what? And I think, like you mentioned, a lot of people, they don't even know how to find these credit card underwriters and things of that sort. So it's so good that you were able to have that type of conversation, with them and then drop these gems for the audience today. So now tell us a little bit more about, do you remember, like, I'm going to take you kind of back a little bit. Do you remember how your credit report was, or what type, or where you were essentially, as far as the report wise, in order to get approved for that Navy Federal Business credit card?
Yeah. So as far as my credit score, it was over a 720. But the good thing, the benefit, that's why a lot of people like Navy Federal. They actually tend to lend out to people with lower scores, 680, 650. I've seen 620 for Navy Federal, because Navy Federal is actually very, very relationship based. They have their own internal score. So if you have certain products with them on the personal side, they'll give you a $25,000 credit card, right? So that's essentially how it is. This particular credit union, Navy Federal, they're known for giving out high limits, even with lower scores. But to answer your question, my personal score was over a 720, but that doesn't mean that you need a 720 to get approved for this business credit card. You can very likely get approved with a 680. As long as you don't have like derogatories, you should be fine.
Good. I'm so glad that you shared that too, because I know a lot of people needed to hear that, as well. Well, listen, man, you most definitely seem to know, your stuff. It's not just about the Navy Federal Business credit card, but like you said, you've learned about other credit cards as well too, and made those comparisons before you made your final, decision as well too. And guys, just so you all know, for the audience watching this, again, this is coming from someone who is using this same exact credit card. So they're speaking from a level of experience to help you guys out and make sure that you all don't make these same type of mistakes, and understand what you're getting yourself into as well. So again, Toby, thanks again, for stopping by the channel today. And we know you have a YouTube channel as well too. So what are some of the things you talk about on your YouTube channel?
I really focus on leveraging that credit for income. I'm a money guy, I don't know about anybody else. I always ask myself, can this credit card make me money, and how can it make me money? Because I like to leverage that credit. Ever since that guy told me, I got some good news, I got some bad news. It takes money to make money, but it doesn't have to be your money. So I like to leverage other people's money.
That's right. And guys, listen, you got to have a certain score to even, get to this point. If you're not in the 7s, you're not in the 6s, it's not the end of the world. We do have our advanced credit blueprint. Some of our clients love that particular product that we have, helps them improve our credit scores. That way you guys can start implementing the things that Toby is talking about. Get yourself in position. And thanks again, Toby, for stopping by the channel today. We greatly appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Exactly how to get a pre-approval with Navy Federal for an auto loan. And we're starting right now. So we're at the Navy Federal website here. So what you want to do, obviously you need to be a Navy Federal member. In order to be a Navy Federal member, you have to have some sort of affiliation with someone in military. There are some way around that. I can make a video showing you exactly how to get inside Navy Federal. There's some hacks that you can do that, so you don't necessarily need to be affiliated with someone who is in the Army. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on that. Guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business and we talk about finance. Let me know in the comments if this is your first time here so I can welcome you to the family. So you're at the Navy Federal website. You're going to go to loans and credit cards. You hit auto loans. All right, so hit the road with a great rate on a car loan. So this is if you want to refinance out of your current auto loan, if you want to finance your new car or auto loan. So obviously you would just go here, you hit apply, you have to sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Give me 1 second. All right, so we're at the auto loan application. This process is quick and easy. Typically, you get an answer within 5 minutes. So you can read through all that. Some of the things you need, if you have already decided which vehicle you want, you need to provide the 17 VIN number. You also need to provide the exact mileage, the state you will register the car. So if you don't know which one that is, if you're still shopping around, you would just hit no. I'm not sure which vehicle I want, but I want to get a pre-approval. So then you would hit continue. And just a data point, they will hard pull your TransUnion. So just keep that in mind. So you would put jointly, individually. So I would just put individually. Okay. Say continue there. All right. You want to put previously owned or a new. If you're buying it straight off the lot, you just hit that. So please know your interest rate and terms are based on your vehicles, based on the vehicle's type of purchase. For example, if your loan is pre-approved for a new vehicle and you purchase a used vehicle, your rate may change. So it really all depends. It says resulting in a higher monthly payment. So the mileage and the year will determine the vehicle classification type. The pre-approval check provides the maximum amount for your loan, and the car and can only be used at a dealership. If you would like to purchase from a private seller, Navy Federal will require you to select a vehicle and provide this information in a new application. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are interested in joining the waitlist for my mentorship, there is a link in the description. Go ahead and click that description, watch the video, and join the waitlist. All right, so it's going to ask you to provide, do you have a vehicle you would like to trade in? You would hit no. All right, so this is where you would put the amount to get financed. So you would just put 50,000 I'm just putting 50,000 as an example. Whatever car you guys are getting, you would just do that. Is that 5,000? Let me put another 0. There we go. Hit continue. Takes a while to. All right, so keep this in mind. So here's what you need to keep in mind. So the longer the term, the higher the interest rate. The shorter the term, the lower the interest rate. Let me say that again. The higher the interest rate, the higher the term, the higher the interest rate. The lower the term, the lower the interest rate. If you're getting an extended term, like 96 months, it's going to be a higher interest rate. If you're doing a lower term, like 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, it's going to be a lower interest rate. Now, also you have to have, that also depends on your internal score with Navy Federal and or your personal credit score. So just keep that in mind. So then you would just hit continue. Then you put your information, your basic information, your name, all that information. Then you get pre-approved. I'm not going to go to the exact steps. I'm not going to do the whole application, but you essentially get pre-approval, and then they will hard pull your TransUnion if you move forward. So, and then they'll mail you a check. Give me 1 second. It's an example of if you put your purchase price, the loan terms, the interest rate, you can mess around with this. It gives you an idea of what your monthly payment would be, but that is essentially it. So you will get a hard pull if you accept the pre-approval. They'll mail you a check, or you could get it at your local branch from Navy Federal. And then you just have to provide that information. Now, what you can do is, since you have that check in hand, you can use that as a negotiating tactic, negotiating tool when you try to get your car, because you have cash in hand. It's not something you're going to finance through them. It's something that in their eyes, you're going to be paying cash with that check. So if you have a $40,000, $50,000 check from Navy Federal, in their eyes, you'd be paying car cash. So you can get a really good discount if you're good at negotiating and letting the dealership know that you're going to be paying for this all cash. Now, you don't let them know until the end, like when you sound interested and you're about to purchase that vehicle, then you could say, okay, look, if I pay in all cash, what's the best you can do? What's the best price you can give me on this car? That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace. All right, guys. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Navy Federal Pledge Loan. There's a hack. Not necessarily. So basically, it's just a secured loan with your own money. Now, obviously, in order to get this loan, you have to be a Navy Federal member. There's tons of ways. I'm not going to get into it in this video on how to be a Navy Federal member. You have to have some sort of affiliation with somebody in the military. That's the gist of it. But there's backdoor ways. But basically, not a pledge loan, what a secured loan. It's basically a secure loan with your own money. So some of the things you need to do. So first, obviously, you need to understand what a loan is. A loan is an installment loan. It has a fixed term for a length of period. So a $50, it's kind of like a personal loan. A personal loan has an end date, has a fixed monthly payment for the life of the loan. It's not a revolving line of credit. So how it can help you is if you have bad credit, and you loan, let's just say, as an example, right, $10,000. You do a secure loan with your own money, 10,000. What happens is they give you the money. It reports as a trade line to your credit as an installment loan. What's number one? It's good because there's a mix of accounts, right? It's a decent size loan amount, 10,000. And then secondly, the hack would be that you would pay it off early, but I'm going to get into it. But before I do, guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business and we talk about finance. All right. So basically, again, what a pledge loan is, and Navy Federal is not the only credit union to do this. There's credit unions that do this. This is basically just a secured loan of your own money. So the best play, if you can afford it, would be to do the largest amount, because what you would do in the sequence is you're going to loan your own money and you're going to basically pay it back. You're going to pay back the majority of that loan, and it's going to look to the lenders that you borrowed a lot of money because it's reported to the trade lines, reported to the credit bureaus as a trade line, as an installment loan. As an example, so you give Navy Federal $40,000. You wait till they report that to all three credit bureaus, right? So you give them the $40,000, they freeze that money, then they give it to you back because it's your own money. Then what you would do is then you would pay 90% off that loan after 45 days. You got to give it enough time to report to the credit bureaus. So in other words, let's just, as an example, it doesn't have to be 40,000. It can be up to 100,000. It could be up to as little as 1,000. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that it's reporting as a trade line, as an installment loan, and then they're going to see that you paid it off. You paid off the majority of that loan right away. Right? They can see that in their eyes. They can see that, okay, you borrowed money because it comes over as a trade line, as an installment loan on the credit report, and they notice, oh, he paid it off right away, and that's why the higher the trade line, the higher the amount you loan, the better it looks. Let's just say 40,000 as an example. You put 40,000 of your own money, and you pay off 90% of that, whatever that amount is. They look at it like, oh, they borrowed 40,000 and 45 days later they paid it off. That looks great. Now, what even look better is if you, let's say the term is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The longer the term, the better, because it increases your payment history, right? Keep making payments for a minimum of 12 months because what that does, it helps with the payment history. It doesn't look as good if you basically borrow 40,000 and paid it off the next month, as if you keep making on-time payments for a long period of time, right? It still looks good that you paid it off, that big amount, but it doesn't look as good if you made the payments on time for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. Does that make sense? As opposed to 45 days. So basically, again, you're loaning your own money. Again, as small examples, 10,000 of your own money. You wait 30 to 45 days for it to report to the credit bureaus. Okay, you have a new installment loan, you're reporting on your credit report. Then you pay off 90% of it, right? Then that reports to the credit bureaus. And then again, up to you, that 10% that's remaining, you can pay that off. I would say a minimum of 12 months because you still have to make a payment on that. I would say a minimum of 12 months because it's creating a payment history on that. And again, why this builds credit is because it helps with the credit mix. If you have a high limit on the installment loan, and then also for Navy Federal specifically, it helps with the internal credit score. With the internal score, Navy Federal, they have like their own internal score as far as like how much they give you. So that it helps in a lot of fronts, especially if you're trying to build credit. Even if you have good credit, a large installment loan does look good because lenders can see that you paid off, or you were able to manage a large amount of money and you paid it off relatively quickly. So they're more inclined to lend you more money or larger limits down the road if you apply for the products. Guys, let me know in the comments if you apply for this this pledge loan? What was the amount you applied for? Did it help your credit score? Let me know in the comments if this worked for you guys. Again, this is not like you're applying for a credit card. This is no hard inquiry. You would do the application over the phone. Again, you give them your money. They hold it for a little bit, then they give it to you back. It reports as a trade line, whatever that amount is. You have to wait for it to report to the credit bureaus. Then you can pay off 90%. Then I would recommend to keep it as long as you can, minimum of 12 months, because it helps with the payment history. Again, back to what I was saying. It's better. It looks a lot better if I can see that you can make on-time payments for a long period of time, as opposed to paying it off right away. If I buy a $20,000, if I have a $20,000 loan on a car, and I paid it off in 1 month. Yes, it looks good that I paid it off in 1 month, but it will look better if lenders can see that you were able to manage that payment for a longer period of time. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you can notify whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button, Guys, let me know in the comments if you got this loan. That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace. $30,000, no docs, stated income, personal loan with Navy Federal. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same. Guys, if you don't know who Navy Federal Credit Union is, it's the largest credit union in the world. They're known for giving out generous limits on the personal side, $20,000, $25,000, $15,000 credit cards. Guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here, so I can show you some love. Put in the comments first time. All right, guys, so before I get started, though, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. It does help with the algorithm. All right, so we're at Navy Federal. You go loan and credit cards, and you click on personal loans, right? Then you're going to come here. They have plans and terms that go up to 60 months, up to 36 months, up to 60 months. The higher the term, as far as months, the higher the interest rate is going to be typically. The lower the term, the lower the interest rate typically is how it works. Now, a couple things you want to keep in mind. So this is no docs, stated income. What does that mean? No docs, you don't have to split any pay stubs, any documentation to show that you're working or that you have a job, right? So it's no docs, no documentation, no bank statements, anything like that, no tax returns. Stated income is basically what that means, stated income. Now, as far as the income, they're going to go off of the two major things that qualify you for you to get approved for a personal loan with any institution, any bank, is your credit score and your income, right? Income is important because if you make $20,000, why would I loan you $50,000? Does that make sense? Why would I loan someone $50,000 where they barely make $20,000? So that's why that's an important factor in mitigating the bank's risk, because they don't want to lend to someone who can't pay it back, who doesn't make enough income to support that debt. And another thing is your DTI. So on your personal side, if you have a lot of debt to income, a lot of debt to your debt to income, if you have a lot of debt on your personal side, you will probably get a lower amount. So that's relative to what you make and what your debt is compared to that income. Does that make sense? So they go up to 50,000. Anything over 50,000, they are going to ask for docs, bank statements, W-2s, maybe tax returns. So you only want to apply for the amount that you would, anything before 50,000, unless you want to apply for something more, and then you can provide the documents. That's great. But typically, if your credit is in place, and I'm going to talk about my data points, if your credit is in place and you have the income, you will probably get an automatic approval, and you would have to sign a promissory note saying that you're going to pay back that debt. And then once you do all that paperwork, you can get the funds direct deposit into your bank account within 10 to 15 minutes. I got mine right away. I was instantly approved. I didn't have to submit any docs. So one thing you want to point out, you shouldn't be getting a personal loan to go on vacation or for personal reasons. You want to be getting a personal loan either to consolidate debt, or if you have something you want to invest in that you think that can get you a great return. But let me know in the comments if you guys ever got this personal loan. What were your data points? What was the amount? And what was your credit score? So for me, when I applied at the time of the application, I believe my credit score was a 760 or 65, somewhere in that range. I don't remember. It was a few years back. So it was like a 760, something like that. And then also they pull from TransUnion. So they will be doing a hard pull on your personal side, and it's usually from TransUnion. But again, if you have the income and you have the score, it'll be an automatic approval, and you get to sign that promissory note within right away, and you get that deposit right into your bank account within 10 to 15 minutes. That's my time. My name Toby Rosario. Peace. I got $25,000 from Navy Federal, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do the same thing. All right, so here's what you're going to need to do. First, you need to be a Navy Federal member, right? You need to have a personal checking account with them. You need to be a member. You need to, in order to get there, to get access to Navy Federal, you need to either have an access number or be in the military, right? So let's assume you have a Navy Federal account. Then what you want to do is you want to apply for their business checking account. You have to apply for the business checking account. Here's a quick tip, right? To get it done quick and easy and correctly, you want to call the Navy Federal customer service line so they can help you fill out the application over the phone. You want to do it over the phone. Make some time. Make about 30 to 45 minutes to get that business checking account open. You want it done correct. You want it done correctly. So they're going to help you do it because they're going to walk you through it step by step. Make sure, very, very important, you're not in a high-risk industry. What is a high-risk industry? Credit repair. Do not say you're in credit repair. They will flat out deny you the business checking account. You will get denied flat out. You won't, that's it. You will just get denied. Credit repair, anything with like cash advance or like a lot of cash businesses, they don't like high-risk industries. So anything related to cash, CBD as well, credit repair, definitely, you will get denied. So you want to avoid those. You want to be very general. Whatever business you're in, if you are in credit repair, you want to say like you prepare documents or something like that, but you want to avoid high risk industries. I can make a video about high risk industries. Let me know in the comments if you want to make me a video. If you want me to make a video on what considered a high risk, let me know in the comments. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, let me know if you got the Navy Federal Business Credit Card. What kind of limit you got? I got 25,000, and I'll show you exactly what. I'll show you exactly how to do that. But let me know in the comment what was your limit. So you get the business checking account approved. What I recommend is that same day submit a credit card application. Because what I found from their reps talking to the underwriters is that they don't, they limit the credit limits across all businesses. From what I was told from the underwriter, they don't do more than 35,000 across all limits. So they don't allow more than 35,000 across all businesses unless you provide documents. You want tax returns. They want bank statements. They want a lot more documents if you go over the 35K for across all businesses. What does that mean? So I have 25,000 for one business and 10,000 for another business, right? So what I did was I submitted the credit applications for each business, and then that's when I was told that they no longer do they don't do 35,000. No more than 35,000 across any businesses. So you can have 5 businesses, 5 business checking accounts, 5 business credit cards with Navy Federal, but they won't exceed 35,000 on the business side for the limits unless you provide documents. They also do have business lines of credit and business loans. Obviously, you have to provide documents for those. So I just have a $25,000 credit card for one business and a $10,000 credit card for the other business. So a couple things you need to keep in mind. When you open the business checking account, you obviously need your EIN. You need your EIN, you need your articles of organization, you need a certificate of good standing if that's required, operating agreement, if all those things are required. But if you submit all that, if you have all those documents ready to go, speak with Navy Federal over the phone, you'll get that submitted, get that business application approved. You do need to, I believe, deposit $100 and then also submit the credit card applications right away. You don't want to delay that because it is a lengthy process. It doesn't take, it's not like instant. It's not like passed through an algorithm. It takes about anywhere between 7 to 10 days to get a word back from the Navy Federal underwriter. Also, a couple data points, they will pull your Experian on the personal side. So just make sure that your Experian is good. At this minimum 680. Anything above 680 should be good, but preferably 720 and above. But essentially, they pull TransUnion for personal, but for business, they pull Experian on the personal side. The utilization does not report on your personal side. So you can run it up and it does not report to your personal side. That's one of the benefits. It does not have an annual fee. It does not report to business credit bureaus. Guys, let me know in the comments what are your data points for this business credit cards. If you got it, what was your limit? What score did you have? And also let me know if you want me to make a video on high risk industries. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you can notify whenever I post a new video. Also, click the link in the description. Join that free Facebook group, Away from Spam, where we talk about credit, we talk about business credit, we talk about leveraging that credit to create cash flow. The link is in the description. That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace. All right, guys, in today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 things you need to do when you join Navy Federal. If you're not familiar with Navy Federal, it is what they call the House of High Limits. It is the largest credit union in the United States, and you do have to be affiliated. It's more so people who are affiliated with the military. However, there are ways that you can get into Navy Federal, even if you are not personally yourself a military representative. So the first thing to build that relationship, because Navy Federal is huge on their internal score, its relationship is really highly based on how much products you have with them, and you showing them that you are committed to building a long-term relationship with them. So relationship banking is super key. So one of the things that I recommend with them is having them as your primary bank account. Make sure that you create a checking account and a savings account that shows some sort of commitment that you are thinking long term. And the benefit is the more you build that internal score, the higher limits you get, the more products you're able to get. Also, even with a lower credit score, you're still able to get approved because they weigh that internal score more than most banks. So that is very important. So you have that checking and savings account created that builds up that commitment and that internal score with Navy Federal. And then the second thing you want to do is have your direct deposit going into Navy Federal. Again, you're building up all these data points. You're seasoning the account. You're showing Navy Federal, hey, I'm in it for the long term. This is not a short-term stint. So you have deposits going in there. You have a checking account. You have a savings account. You're building those data points. And then the third thing that you can do with Navy Federal that I haven't heard too many banks or credit unions that allow this is a secure loan. Now, a lot of banks and credit unions have this option. The difference with Navy Federal, though, is that they actually allow you. I made a video. Make sure you guys check that out. Basically, they allow you to. It's a secure loan. Let's just say $1,000, right? We call it the pledge loan hack. And then you give Navy Federal $1,000, and then they give you that money back as a loan in the form of a loan. And you want to pay 80 to 90 to 95% of that loan, and then leave the rest for the remaining of the term. What that does is it manufactures a train line on your personal credit. It builds up the internal score with Navy Federal, right? Because it's your own money. It's not a hard pull. There's no credit check. It's your own money, but they give you the money back. Most credit unions actually don't give you the money back. They give it to you at the end of the term. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you can notify whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button. So you have that product with Navy Federal. You have the direct deposit. You have the checking and savings account. The fourth thing I want you to do is if you don't have a credit card or if you have a thin profile, you can do a pre-approval. Navy Federal allows you to have some pre-approval options for the credit card on the app. See if you're pre-approved. And then again, if you built that relationship with Navy Federal with the primary checking account and savings account and direct deposit and a pledge loan, you have those data points. You have that internal score with Navy Federal. You're likelier to get approved for a credit card with Navy Federal. Again, they do give out high limits, 20, 25,000 started. They have a credit card that goes up to 80,000. The total threshold across all cards is 80,000, although some people are saying that they have gotten more. And then the fifth and last thing that you can do if you wanted to, again, to build that relationship short-term and long-term, is what's called a certificate of deposit. So you have the primary checking account, savings account, you have the direct deposit, money going in, money flowing out. You got the secure loan. You got a credit card that you got approved for $25,000. You're making payments. And then to top it off, you can get a certificate of deposit with Navy Federal. And then that way you can get those auto loans. You can get a mortgage. You could get a high personal loan. So they offer an array of products with Navy Federal, but the more you build that relationship, the higher likelihood of higher approvals and the higher likelihood of higher limits on personal loans, credit cards, and whatever products you guys are looking to be interested. Guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business and we talk about finance. Let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Don't forget to subscribe. That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace.